We're going to talk a little bit today about a level 2 move in real estate. And this is an equity play. So we see the rates, they've been up, they've down, but they've kind of settled off a little bit. And with rates in, the 6 and 7 range, there's some opportunity to refinance for some people, which, anyone who bought within the last 2 or 3 years is probably going to have that opportunity. But there's a whole separate group that nobody realizes. It's a group that bought between 2018 and 2022. And they got a great interest rate and they have tons of equity in their home. So most people, their first instinct is, well, I'm never touching this loan again because I'm never going to see this rate. And it's probably so. I doubt you're going to see your 2s and 3s again. But what do? Right? You have a ton of equity in your house. And let's say you bought a house for $500,000, in 2019 with 20% down. So you figure you put $100,000 down. By this point, you say you probably knocked off $20,000 worth of principal. So you got a house, you're probably all in for, say, $380 left on your mortgage. Now, that house could be worth $600,000, $700,000 by now. So you could potentially have between $150,000 and $200,000 of equity in that house. Your original down payment plus appreciation. So what do you do with it? And that's the key that you need to look at. Some owners are realizing they have equity trapped in their house and they're asking, can I do more with it? But what? And that's where the equity play comes into focus, right? It might seem crazy going from a 3% mortgage to a 6% mortgage, but if you leverage the equity you build up, your mortgage rate could be pretty much the same. Your mortgage payment could be pretty much the same as it is now. And what you did is you bought a bigger asset, right? So let's just say you do end up scaling up and now you buy, an $800,000 house. You take the $200,000 equity you have in your house, put it as a down payment. So even though your rate is going up and you're paying a higher rate, you're now also putting more down. So you're offsetting it. So realistically, the payments could be close. It still might be slightly more, but it's not going to be outrageous. And you're, now on an asset of $800,000 and your mortgage payment's relatively the same. So as that starts to scale, remember, rates will still go down from here. So as the rates go down, that equity is going to grow in the house, and you're also going to have the option to refinance. So if you did, say, go from a 3.5 to a 7, but you put that equity into the new house, so you're a little bit ahead of the game. Now rates settle back down into the 5 range, and you refinance from a 7 to a 5. Well, now you got a payment that's very similar to what your other one was, but you now own an asset of 8, 9, $1 million as opposed to the one you had of 5. So this is the equity play. You take what you have and you scale it up in a way that, as long as you're doing it in a way that's growing net worth, like this is a good opportunity for certain people who qualify for it to take advantage of it. Because at the end of the day, there's certain types of people that just want to pay off their mortgage and that's it. They want their house, they're going to pay off their mortgage and they're done. For those people, this is not the move. But for others who want to keep growing and have more, this is taking the equity you have now and making it work for you now. Because waiting 20 years to have that equity and do something with it, it's much less relevant than what you could do with it now. So by leveraging into something bigger and better now, you end up with almost equal cash flow, right? It's only going to set you back or about the same thing. Most of the times I do it, you're almost dead even, if not, $300 to $500 more a month, but with a bigger asset that you own. So this is the equity play that you should think about. Anyone between 2018, 2022 need to sell, maybe outgrowing your house, things like that. This is an opportunity to buy yourself a bigger house and bigger debt just because to play for equity. That's not the greatest scenario, but if you're doing it to scale up because you need to anyway, this is actually the opportune time, because while interest rates are high, the house prices are going to be a little bit lower. So you capture the equity that you have in yours, put it towards the new one, wait for your refinance opportunity, and get back to that same payment. So something to talk about if you want to strategize. Like I said, I'd gladly talk you out of it if it doesn't make sense. But for certain people, it's how you end up growing. At one point in my life, we had some rental properties, and I was going to pay off my own mortgage. I was just going to pay the thing off. We were close to it. And someone reminded me, you're 40, you're not 60. Why are you paying off your mortgage? Take that money and go buy something else. And then that investment is then paying my mortgage faster. So instead of having one asset, you now have 2. And that's the whole thing. It's for how you're built, certain people, it takes a little bit of time to adjust to it, but this is the mindset. This is how you end up with more, because you're taking that equity, using it now to do something either income producing or something that you need to do anyway. But why not take advantage of the opportunity? Because now is the opportunity, because things are going to be as tight as they are now, right? As soon as those rates come back down to fives, you're going to see bidding wars. It's going to be craziness all over again. Plus, loan turn times are going to slow down. They're going to find another way to jack up fees, just like they do every time there's money on the table. So taking advantage of this opportunity is actually, I think, the golden time to do it if you're going to make that equity play.